Charlie has spent season 2 screwing up the image for the hotel and subsequently trying to fix it, ignoring the advice she is getting from other characters, such as Angel, Dust, and Vaggie, to not involve the V's and to stay off television. Given Charlie's history with the media, we as the audience know this is not going to go well, and it doesn't. It can be frustrating watching Charlie make the same mistake over and over. But instead of dismissing her as annoying, what we need to do is recognize her as flawed. First thing, we have to recognize that Charlie learned this behavior from someone else. The desire to give what she wants to give and feels capable of giving, and the inability or fear to give what people around her actually need. Yeah, it's Lucifer. She learned it from her dad. Lucifer was very willing to give Charlie grandiose things like champagne fountains and caviar mountains because he felt comfortable giving those material things. What Charlie actually wanted was his support in challenging heaven, which Lucifer did not want to give because it was frightening to him, the idea of losing everything once more to the people who sent him to hell in the first place. If we turn this lens onto Charlie's behavior, what Charlie wants to give is therapy sessions, team-building exercises, and ultimately the ability to ascend. However, we know that her methods of trying to get a soul into heaven might be a part of why Penchas was able to ascend, but not the true reason, and he was one of the only residents of the hotel who actually took part in Charlie's activities, though it is nice that we saw Angel actually seeking out their group sharing session in Season 2. Charlie is giving what she wants to give, while the residents are actually helping themselves the most by being in a safe environment that doesn't force them to buckle to the usual behaviors that residents of Hell have to follow. There are no turf wars, no wanton murdering except for roaches, and the residents are able to connect with each other and help each other heal, notably with Angel and his relationships with Husk, with Nifty, and now with Cherry Bomb. But Charlie ignores that in favor of giving Angel redemption and forcing him into a situation he did not want to be in, like champagne fountains and caviar mountains. It sounds great to Charlie because it's what she wants to give, and because this is a behavior that is not only learned but something we have seen repeated, it's going to take more than one little lesson on personal boundaries for her to truly see why she needs to change her behavior. This is simply realistic. When we have mindsets so ingrained in how we do things, it takes multiple times of getting hit by consequences to really learn. Charlie is also terrified of what will happen if the hotel is a failure. This is her baby, her chance to prove herself as the princess of hell. So like her dad was terrified of going against heaven, Charlie ignores what the residents truly need because she can't face the idea of failure. So, with that out of the way, we need to give Charlie a break. Is she being annoying? Yeah. Is that making her a bad protagonist? No, it's making her more realistic. We want female protagonists who can be annoying, who can screw up, who can need to learn and grow, but every time we get one, people start complaining. Comparing this to how often audiences forgive male protagonists and male characters in general for actual war crimes or less terrible offenses like being complete assholes 90% of the time, it just proves how much lip service goes into hating strong female characters like Captain Marvel or Rey from Star Wars, just to turn around and berate a female character who is learning, who is not perfect, and say she's a bad protagonist for being exactly what you supposedly want from these female protagonists. It's completely hypocritical, and while I fully realize that many of the people pushing the Charlie is a terrible protagonist agenda are doing it for the clicks, that doesn't stop it from being hypocritical. Charlie had an arc in the first season, and we can't truly judge her for season 2 without seeing where she ends up. The Lilith reveal, when it happens, is going to be a huge deal for both Charlie and Lucifer, and whatever Alistair ends up calling as his favor from Charlie is likely to be a big character moment as well. Right now, having Charlie screw up gives her a chance to grow, especially because her conflict has been with the V's, who are shaping up to be the big bads of the season. Sure, her conflict is with how they are portraying her in the media, but it is still Charlie versus the V's, just with less physical combat. So she is being set up to fix her own mistakes when it comes to the V's, and we can hope with time that Charlie can deal with her own personal issues of giving what she needs to give rather than what she wants to give. But again, that's so ingrained in her that I wouldn't be surprised if it carried over another season. Charlie is being a real person at this point, struggling to unlearn set behaviors and getting caught up in things like her public image that are a direct attack towards her and her baby, the hotel. Most of us respond to direct attacks in some way or another, so the fact Charlie is attempting to counteract bad publicity and making it worse only tells us that Charlie lacks media training and needs to listen when Vaggie tells her to back off. But I think most of us can admit it's really hard to back down when someone personally goes after us, especially using lies. If someone in the workplace started spreading lies about you, there's the option of putting your head down and trying to ignore it, or trying to counteract it in some way. Charlie is currently in the second box, and I find it impossible to fault her for it. In fact, I think it's good that she's standing up for herself, even if it's not currently working. Hell responds to shows of physical strength or outright manipulation, which was why Alistair was so feared before his hiatus, and why Vox is so influential. Charlie is not a huge proponent of that kind of power grab unless the ones she loves are in the crosshairs, so we will see what she does about Alistair's situation. But calling Charlie a bad protagonist is simplifying the characters and their growth an absurd amount, as well as being unfair to what the rest of the season may give us. Sure, is it all right to find her current behavior frustrating? Yes, but it has to go along with the knowledge that this is something that has been taught to her, and that Charlie does not use physical violence to promote herself, even when we know she has that power. She has to learn life lessons more than once because that's just how we are. That's realistic. So either accept an imperfect female protagonist or stop attacking the strong ones, because what it seems you really want is no female protagonists at all, because nothing they do can ever please you. Just leave Charlie Morningstar alone until we know what her arc is, and when she's actually been given the chance to change her behaviors. Thanks for listening. I hope you're doing well, and maybe see you later. Bye.